Okay, so this is like take 9,000 because I wanted to do it outside because it's a really pretty day. It's in the 70s and it's like 6 days before Christmas. But people keep like stopping right under my balcony and talking, and then the busload of kids just came in and they're all like, "Ah, I'm out of school!" And then I keep messing up. So okay, so I closed the polls. Thanks to everyone that voted. It was really interesting to see which ones you guys thought were false and which ones were supposedly true. For first place, with 19 votes, went to number 12. And then we had a tie for second place. Both had 18 votes, and that was number 3 and number 6. So now I'm going to read through all 15 and tell you whether it's true or not. So number 1 was, I don't sleep with my head on a pillow 98% of the time, and I also put my fingertips on my mouth when I'm trying to sleep. That was true. Basically everyone thought that was true. Only 3 people voted for it. It's just something I've done since I was very little. I guess this is the comfort thing. I like having my whole body on one plane, but then throughout the night, sometimes my head will be on a pillow, sometimes it won't, sometimes I'll be hanging off the bed, I don't know. I move a lot when I sleep. And then again with the fingertips, I don't know, it's just a comfort thing. It soothes me. So yeah, that one's true. Okay. So number 2 had 5 votes. It is, when I was much younger, I was out with my father when I got one of my regular nosebleeds. We happened to be in the car when my nose sprung a leak, so my dad pulled into this little mom and pop store. When we got inside, the owner snatched me from my father and pushed him outside. They thought my father had me one in the face, but I was old enough to explain. Actually, this is true. I don't get a lot of nosebleeds lately. Pretty much my second year of college they stopped, but before that I would get a nosebleed pretty much every day, and that was since I was very, very young. I can't think of the word for it now, where they put acid in your nose and it burns, because why I get nosebleeds is my vessels in my nose are very close to the surface, so it's easy for them to burst. But anyway, so yeah, I was like blah, 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 in the car. My dad's like, ah! And they were like, ah, when they saw me. But I explained to them that my dad did not beat me and that I just get nosebleeds. And my dad was kind of PO'd that they snatched me, but whatever. They thought they were being heroes. So anyways, that one is true. Number 3. I grew up in a rather large house for a 3-person family. It was a 3-level house, not including the attic or the basement, with 6 bedrooms, 3 full baths, a formal and informal dining room, a formal sitting room as well as an informal, a large kitchen, and then a separate room for the laundry, separate room for the walk-in pantry, and finally a full garage. Again, that tied for second place with 18 votes. That's true, guys. Well, a lot of you didn't think that was true, but it is. I'm sorry. It just kind of dawned on me a couple of months ago. I was thinking back. It's an old house, so it's got to be at least 100 years old. My grandparents bought it, and my father grew up in it, and then when he married my mom, they moved in there again. My grandparents had passed on, and we lived there until I was 9. And yeah, I mean, it's not like a mansion or anything, it's just one of those old houses, and I was just thinking about it one day. And I was like, wow, there were a lot of rooms and stuff that I just didn't think about. I mean, they weren't big rooms. I mean, for an older house, which older houses do tend to have larger rooms, the rooms in it are probably pretty small as being the standard at that time. But the house is still in our family. My aunt lives there now, which is even stranger that only one person lives there now. But yeah, it's on a really major road, and it's going commercial, so it actually might not be there for very much longer, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I did live in a house that had that many rooms. I think why a lot of you guys might have voted for it, because it's really not as big as I I mean, it's got that many rooms, but it's really not that big. It's not like this huge house. I wasn't like, hoo, I was so rich when I was older, or younger. Anyways, so yeah, that one's true too. Number 4. I've been in 5 beauty pageants when I was around the ages of 2 and 6. Only 9 of you guys voted for that, but that is fake. I've never been in a beauty pageant, especially when I was little. So, sorry, I don't really have anything to elaborate. I've never been in a beauty pageant. Number 5. This one's kind of gross. I had black fungus growing on the roof of my mouth once after having oral surgery. They told me people usually don't wear the retainer like they should, and I wore it exactly like they said, and I got fungus. Well, 5 people thought this was fake, but sadly it's true, as gross as it sounds. I had oral surgery, I think I want to say my senior year, because the receding gum line, I made an entry about that, and they took gum from the roof of my mouth and then sewed it down there, and gross experience. But then they gave me like this retainer, like it's not like a mouth guard, but it looked like a clear mouth guard, so that the hole up there could heal properly. And I cleaned it, daily, or however many times I was supposed to do daily, with like this peroxide mixture of some sort. And I rinsed out my mouth and everything, because it was kind of terrifying. I have a hole that close to my brain. My mom is always good at making me paranoid about anything, and she was like, if that gets infected, you're gonna die. So I was very, very paranoid about keeping it clean, and then I went in to do the checkup or whatever, and he pulled it out, and of course, I wasn't looking like up and into it, so I never really saw it, and he was like, well, you've got some black fungus over there. He was really surprised. He was like, it's not really I don't know, he made me feel like I wasn't a disgusting, dirty person. He was like, I've never really seen this, because actually, when people come in, I have to yell at them because they're not wearing it. He was like, I guess it's just because you wore it so much that it made like a breeding ground for it. So he cleaned it out, and I didn't have to wear it anymore, so I didn't get fungus anymore. But it was kind of gross, because it was black, and it was pretty disgusting, but whatever. All is well now. I don't have black fungus in my mouth. Okay, so number 6 was the other one that tied for second place with 18 votes, and that was, I had a pet rooster named Ginger that lived in my Barbie house. Well, again, that's true. It's actually, I had this pet rooster when I lived in that large house that you guys didn't believe I lived in. I don't know, I was in private school still at the time, so it had to be first or second grade, but we had an incubator, and we hatched these eggs, and if our parents said we could take one of the little chicks home, and my mom said I could, so I brought one home, and I don't know, I just assumed that it was a chicken, so I named it Ginger. And of course, I had this playroom, so it stayed in there, and this little chick was cute, and it didn't do anything, and then one day it blossomed into this beautiful rooster. And I guess he was just mad at me that I named him Ginger, because he was mean. Well, I guess most roosters are mean, especially when they're confined to this room. I lived downtown, so it's not like we had a farm or anything, so it was kind of sad. But he took over my Barbie house, and he crapped all over my Barbie house, and every time we would try to go in there, he would charge at the door, so he basically took over my entire playroom. But, so finally my mom's like, what are we going to do with this rooster? And so she looked up this animal sanctuary called the Big Red Farm, I think that's what it's called, and we took him there.